Whether facing personal crises, escaping the pressures of fame, or simply pursuing a new path, these celebrities decided to turn their back on Hollywood. Like Angus T. Jones, who despite reportedly earning $300,000 per episode, made headlines in 2012 when he declared his intention to leave his role as Jake Harper on the CBS sitcom 2.5 Men. Following his conversion to Christianity, Jones expressed that the show's raunchy content and adult themes conflicted with his newfound faith, prompting his desire to depart from the series.
I'm on 2.5 Men. I don't want to be on it. Please stop watching it. Please stop filling your head with filth.
The actor ultimately left 2.5 Men after 10 seasons, describing himself as a paid hypocrite for his extended involvement in the show.
You cannot be a true God-fearing person and be on a television show like that.
Though he would subsequently retreat from the spotlight, Jones has since expressed his desire to return to acting, much like the beloved Rick Moranis, who was forced to leave his Hollywood career behind in the wake of a life-changing tragedy. Rising to fame in the late 80s, Moranis endeared himself to audiences with iconic roles in films such as Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Little Shop of Horrors. But just as the actor was enjoying the height of his fame, tragedy struck in 1991 when his wife Ann Belsky passed away from breast cancer, leaving him to raise their 2 young children alone. Devastated by the loss, Moranis made the difficult decision to step away from acting to focus on being there for his kids. He explained, "I'm a single parent, and I just found that it was too difficult to manage raising my kids and doing the traveling involved in making movies. So I took a little bit of a break, and the little bit of a break turned into a longer break, and then I found that I really didn't miss it." His choice to prioritize family earned widespread respect in the entertainment industry, with Moranis himself expressing that he had no regrets. However, fans were thrilled by the 2020 announcement that Moranis would be returning to acting in a new sequel to the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids series, marking his first appearance on the big screen in over 20 years. Though one actor who will never be returning to Hollywood is Jake Lloyd, whose portrayal of Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode I: The Phantom Menace had a devastating impact on his life. The film was met with backlash from a vocal segment of the Star Wars fan base, subjecting Lloyd to relentless bullying at just 10 years old. This pressure ultimately led him to quit acting entirely, merely 2 years after the film's release.
So, is the acting career over? What's the plan with all that?
It seems to be relatively over. I quit acting about 10 years ago. Not a big fan of cameras anymore.
Lloyd largely stayed out of the public eye until a reckless driving incident in 2015 brought him back into the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Jake Lloyd, the actor known for playing the young Anakin Skywalker, was arrested in South Carolina last week after a wild 25-mile car chase. Jake, now 26, allegedly wove in and out of lanes with police in pursuit, at times going more than 100 miles per hour, before ultimately driving off into a wooded area and hitting some trees.
Lloyd would subsequently spend 10 months in prison until a schizophrenia diagnosis had him transferred to a psychiatric facility. Unfortunately, his struggles did not stop there, as Lloyd's mother recently disclosed that the former child actor had experienced a complete psychotic break in May 2023. Yet Lloyd isn't the only actor to face bullying for an on-screen role. Irish actor Jack Gleeson would also experience years of harassment after portraying Joffrey Baratheon in the HBO series Game of Thrones. The young actor's portrayal of the despicable villain was so captivating that fans found it difficult to separate him from the character. As a result, Gleeson was flooded with a torrent of hate mail and harsh criticism online due to his on-screen wickedness. The backlash would escalate to such an extent that even series author George R.R. Martin voiced concern about whether the universal hatred directed at Joffrey Baratheon would drive Gleeson to abandon his acting career altogether. Ultimately, Gleason retired from acting after completing his work on Game of Thrones, explaining that he had lost his passion for the craft and did not wish to pursue acting as a lifelong career. He subsequently enrolled at Trinity College Dublin, where he studied theology and philosophy, graduating in 2015. And while Gleason's acting skills evoked hatred from viewers, Mara Wilson was universally adored for her performances in beloved films like Mrs. Doubtfire and Matilda. Yet despite her early success, Wilson gradually became disillusioned with acting, largely due to the film industry's treatment of young women.
After that, I wasn't as passionate about it anymore, and people grow out of things. That's something people don't really understand. And also, you know, I was 13 and I was awkward and I was gawky and I was not a very cute kid anymore, so Hollywood didn't really want me at that point, and I was kind of over it too, so after a while it feels like a mutual breakup.
Wilson ultimately stepped away from Hollywood shortly after entering her teenage years in 2001, later explaining, "Film acting is not very fun and does not allow for very much creative freedom. The celebrity aspect is nothing short of ridiculous, and auditioning is brutal and dehumanizing." Nowadays, she primarily works as a voice actress and is recognized as one of the few child stars who have successfully navigated a graceful exit from Hollywood, unlike Amanda Bynes, who Wilson herself has even expressed empathy for.
Amanda Bynes, I think, has been in the public eye a lot. You know, she had her own television show when she was 10 or 11. She had so much power, she had so much going on, and now she doesn't have that anymore. She doesn't have a steady career anymore.
The Nickelodeon child star turned teen idol was only 24 when she announced her retirement shortly after the release of the 2010 comedy film Easy A. Believing that she looked overweight in the film, Bynes stated, "I literally couldn't stand my appearance in that movie, and I didn't like my performance. I was absolutely convinced I needed to stop acting after seeing it." Unfortunately, taking a step back from fame only seemed to make her situation worse. She soon found herself embroiled in a series of legal issues, including DUI arrests and erratic behavior, such as publicly accusing her father of implanting a microchip in her brain to control her. In 2013, Bynes was placed under a conservatorship and spent several years in and out of rehab as she grappled with substance abuse issues. Things began looking up for Bynes when she successfully petitioned to end her conservatorship in March of 2022. However, within a year, she was once again placed under psychiatric hold after being discovered wandering the streets of Los Angeles, naked and alone, following a psychotic episode. In contrast, Amanda's Liar Liar co-star Frankie Muniz has experienced a markedly different journey in life after fame. Once hailed as Hollywood's most bankable teen, Muniz rose to fame in the 2000s as the star of the critically acclaimed sitcom Malcolm in the Middle, where he reportedly earned an astonishing $150,000 per episode. At just 15 years old, he even won an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. Yet despite his numerous achievements, Muniz has openly admitted to struggling with imposter syndrome throughout his career, feeling as though he never fully belonged in the Hollywood world and believing he was unworthy of his success. And so, shortly after the conclusion of Malcolm in the Middle in 2006, Muniz chose to shift his focus to a career in race car driving.
I don't think Malcolm would have had the guts to do what I'm doing today.
Really?
No.
Love it. Wow. That makes me emotional. Okay.
Cody Banks, maybe. Maybe not even.
That's funny.
Maybe not even.
Okay.
He might have got scared. No, but Frankie Muniz is like,
That's right. Yeah. Good answer. Good. I'm proud of you.
Speaking of Malcolm in the Middle, the show's matriarch Jane Kaczmarek recently provided a rare update regarding the whereabouts of Eric Purr Sullivan, who played the family's youngest brother Dewey.
We did Malcolm for 7 years. He started at 7. He ended at 14. He wasn't interested in acting at all. He goes to school at a very, very, very prestigious American university. He's doing graduate work in Victorian literature.
Similarly, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen would find a vastly different career path after deciding to step away from Hollywood. Starting their careers as actresses at just 9 months old, the Olsen twins gained fame for their role as Michelle Tanner on the hit television series Full House. By their teenage years, they had already become two of the wealthiest women in the entertainment industry. Shortly after turning 20, the Olsens launched their fashion label, The Row, initially as a side project that quickly blossomed into a successful luxury brand.
The first piece that we really explored was a t-shirt. It started there and it led to tailored goods and jackets, always with the mentality of refined minimal luxury that was wearable.
Over time, The Row gained such popularity that the twins decided to leave Hollywood entirely to focus on managing the brand, which has since won numerous awards and is estimated to have generated over $100 million in sales. And while Mary-Kate and Ashley still work together, these next famous twins went their separate ways. Best known for their roles in Disney Channel's The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Dylan and Cole Sprouse eventually charted their own distinct paths once the series came to an end. While Cole continued his acting career, notably portraying Jughead on Riverdale, Dylan shifted his focus to video game design, studying at the Gallatin School of Individualized Study, where he graduated in 2015. 3 years later, he opened the All-Wise Meadery in Brooklyn, overcoming initial challenges to bring his vision to life.
A lot of people tried to talk me down from doing it. A lot of people attacked my flavors, which have now won gold medals. In general, it hurt because I expected having a kind of open arms community, and I kind of didn't.
And while Dylan will still sometimes dabble in acting, the same cannot be said for Bridget Fonda, who refuses to return to the spotlight. Born into the prestigious Fonda acting dynasty, Bridget started her career at the young age of 5 in the film Easy Rider, with her breakthrough role occurring in late 1990 in The Godfather Part 3. Despite receiving 2 nominations for a Golden Globe Award, the actress abruptly withdrew from the public eye in 2002. A year after her sudden exit from the entertainment world, Fonda suffered a serious car accident that fractured a vertebra. She later married film composer Danny Elfman, and the couple welcomed a son in 2005. Since then, she has led an extremely private life, making only a handful of public appearances, including a recent outing where she reaffirmed her decision to step away from acting.
Is there any chance that you make a move back?
I don't think so. It's too nice being a civilian.
But Fonda isn't the only actress with Hollywood ties who has mysteriously vanished from the industry. Phoebe Cates, born into a family of Hollywood insiders, first rose to fame with her iconic performance in 1982's Fast Times at Ridgemont High, followed by her memorable role in Gremlins 2 years later. However, she ultimately chose to prioritize raising her children and supporting her husband, Academy Award winner Kevin Kline. And while Cates stepped back from Hollywood to focus on family, Jonathan Taylor Thomas left to concentrate on his education. Thomas quickly rose to teen idol status as Randy Taylor on the ABC sitcom Home Improvement, gaining additional fame by voicing young Simba in The Lion King. However, he ultimately chose to leave Home Improvement before the show's conclusion to focus on earning a degree from Harvard, infamously opting not to return for the series finale in 1999. Thomas has since made only brief appearances on television, including a long-awaited reunion with his TV dad Tim Allen during a 2013 cameo on the sitcom Last Man Standing.
Hey, Randy looked familiar.
Well, you know, I used to work with Kristen.
That's not it.
Thomas now maintains a low profile, embracing a tranquil life away from the limelight. In contrast, his TV brother has consistently made headlines, albeit for all the wrong reasons. Actor Zachary Ty Bryan, known for his role as the troublemaking Brad Taylor on Home Improvement, encountered difficulties in finding meaningful acting opportunities after the show's conclusion, leading him to pivot towards producing. Unfortunately, his career has been marred by ongoing legal issues. In October 2020, Bryan was arrested on multiple charges, including felony strangulation, stemming from an apparent dispute with his girlfriend, and he has since faced additional DV charges. The former child star also appears to struggle with alcohol, having faced multiple arrests for driving under the influence over the years, including a 4th DUI charge in 2024. As if that weren't bad enough, Brian would also face accusations of running a fraudulent agriculture technology startup scheme that is said to have defrauded countless investors. Another actress who struggled to maintain her momentum in Hollywood was Hairspray star Nikki Blonsky, who many believed would become the industry's next big sensation. Despite earning 2 Critics' Choice Awards for her portrayal of Hairspray's Tracy Turnblad, her career took a sharp downturn following a 2008 airport brawl wherein Blonsky and her father were involved in a violent confrontation with America's Next Top Model contestant Bianca Golden. Many have speculated that this incident and the ensuing negative publicity rendered her a risky choice for casting, leading to her career dwindling shortly thereafter. This next actress would use her career decline as a springboard for more meaningful endeavors, as global sensation star Shirley Temple transitioned from being Hollywood's top box office draw to a distinguished career in politics. Rising to fame during the Great Depression of the 1930s, Temple was later appointed to represent the US at the United Nations General Assembly in 1969. Temple's post-Hollywood legacy also extends to her influential role in women's health, as her public disclosure of her breast cancer diagnosis in 1972 represented a pivotal moment in diminishing the stigma surrounding the disease and fostering greater awareness. Her diplomatic journey continued in 1974 when she served as U.S. ambassador to both Ghana and Czechoslovakia, eventually making history as the first female U.S. chief of protocol. Harry Potter actress Emma Watson would also get involved in politics following the peak of her career, becoming a passionate advocate for women's rights worldwide, championing causes such as gender equality and women's political participation. Notably, Watson has not taken on any film projects since 2019's Little Women, citing a profound internal transformation as she entered her 30s. This change led her to step back from Hollywood to focus on her peace, happiness, and self-identity. I get a front row seat with some of the most successful, beautiful, incredible people in the world, she explains. And when you have that seat, it becomes very, very clear that there is just absolutely no level of success that will make you in any way happy or content if you do not like who you are or enjoy what you're doing when no one's watching. Watson has since began a master's course in creative writing at Oxford University and has even made a career pivot to roles behind the camera, even directing a short film for Prada Beauty. And while Watson still looks back on her breakout role in Harry Potter with fondness, actor Taylor Lautner has admitted to resenting his Twilight fame. Playing the character of Jacob Black, Lautner became an overnight celebrity largely due to his 8-pack abs. However, the pressure to maintain this appearance was overwhelming, with Lautner's strict diet and rigorous workout regimen eventually leading to significant body image issues.
It's basically getting in the gym every single day. I basically myself.
Making matters worse was the relentless swarm of fans and paparazzi that surrounded the actor every time he ventured into public, which eventually made him fearful of leaving his house. Realizing that he had desperately needed to prioritize on his mental health, Lautner made the decision to step away from Hollywood and reconnect with himself and his roots by moving back in with his parents for a time.
It was needed for me personally, so I, Taylor, feel so much better today than I have in the last 4 or 5 years.
In a fortunate turn of events, his break from acting ultimately introduced him to his fiancée, Taylor Dome, who is now his wife and amusingly shares the name Taylor Lautner. However, Lautner isn't the only teen heartthrob who faced challenges in carving out a successful Hollywood career. Michael Schoeffling, known for his role as Jake Ryan in 16 Candles, alongside Molly Ringwald, also struggled to achieve the level of fame many anticipated after his debut. Despite sharing the screen with some of the era's most notable young actors, Schoeffling is seldom regarded as part of the notorious 80s Brat Pack, and while his co-stars from 16 Candles Daniels went on to secure coveted roles in John Hughes's iconic The Breakfast Club. Schoeffling made the surprising decision to step away from Hollywood entirely. He returned to his roots in northeastern Pennsylvania and opened a handcrafted furniture and woodcraft store. And whereas Schoeffling willingly gave up his acting career, Freddie Prinze Jr. was in a way forced out following multiple box office flops. After reaching his peak in the late 90s with popular teen films like I Know What You Did Last Summer and She's All That, Prinze Jr.'s career began to wane by the end of the 2000s. However, he gladly exchanged the spotlight for more quality time with his family. Since marrying Sarah Michelle Gellar in 2002, the couple has welcomed 2 children, and Prinze Jr. has chosen not to return to the silver screen since 2008. Today, Prinze Jr. continues to explore other avenues for expressing his creativity, delving into voiceover work, podcasting, and taking on roles as a producer and director for the action-packed WWE.
Are you gonna get back into acting?
You know, I love being a full-time father. To remove myself from that equation would not be a good thing. I'm basically retired. I love being a father.
That's great.
And speaking of on-screen action, actor Steven Seagal established himself as one of Hollywood's foremost action stars in the 1990s. However, in the decades that followed, his career took a downward spiral, marred by allegations of egregious behavior toward women, involvement in a dubious cryptocurrency scam, and a controversial friendship with Vladimir Putin. Seagal's ties to Russia deepened over the years, culminating in his acquisition of Russian citizenship in 2016. Since then, Seagal has faded into obscurity, not appearing in a film since 2019. And while Seagal has done a good job of tarnishing his legacy, this next actor continues to be celebrated as one of the greatest actors in the history of cinema, despite forsaking the industry on multiple occasions. First disappearing from Hollywood in 1997, actor Daniel Day-Lewis spent the late 90s in seclusion, trying his hand at a new craft as an apprentice shoemaker in Italy. For a time, his precise whereabouts remained a mystery until Day-Lewis made a triumphant return to the big screen in Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York. However, following years of captivating performances in critically acclaimed films like There Will Be Blood, Lincoln, and Phantom Thread, Day-Lewis announced his permanent retirement from acting in June 2017, stating, "I need to believe in the value of what I'm doing, and if an audience believes it, that should be good enough for me, but lately, it isn't." Nevertheless, he wasn't the only cinematic icon to become disillusioned with his craft, as legendary leading man Cary Grant also grew increasingly dissatisfied with the film industry during the 1960s, often struggling to find a script that met his standards. He once remarked, "I could have continued acting and playing roles as a grandfather or a bum, but I discovered more important things in life." For Grant, that more important thing was his daughter, Jennifer, whom he wished to provide with a sense of normalcy and stability. As such, Grant transitioned to business work in 1966, becoming a director for both MGM and Fabergé, expressing little to no interest in making a career comeback. Grant's fellow Golden Age of Hollywood star, Audrey Hepburn, would similarly step away from her illustrious career that very same decade. While she never quit acting altogether, Hepburn devoted much of her time to humanitarian causes, visiting countries like Ethiopia, Turkey, and Vietnam. Eventually, she earned the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her efforts. Hepburn also valued having enough time to dedicate to raising her 2 children, which made her a far better parent than those of child actor Macaulay Culkin, who pressured him to pursue acting from an early age, much to his detriment. Culkin rose to fame in the 1990s with hits like the Home Alone franchise, but eventually grew weary of Hollywood and sought an escape from it. What followed was a series of misfortunes for the actor, including drug arrests, public humiliation at the hands of the press, and a contentious legal battle with his parents over control of his $15 million trust fund, a move that permanently estranged him from his father. Culkin eventually sought refuge in France, spending 4 years in Paris in an effort to lead a more normal life. Fortunately, this is where Culkin's tragic story finally turns around. In 2017, he had a fateful encounter with Brenda Song, who played the role of London Tipton on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The two would quickly bond over their shared experience as child stars and fall in love, with their blossoming relationship even prompting Culkin to move back to the United States. Haunted by the trauma of his childhood, Macaulay never imagined he would become a father. However, in 2021, Brenda gave birth to their son Dakota, named in tribute to his older sister, who tragically lost her life in a car accident in 2008. Now living a happy life on his own terms, Culkin would even receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2023, with his beloved family there to cheer him on.